Welcome back everyone to another recap. We don't have any quick news, so we're going to jump straight into the Legion Go news. For those that haven't seen, I put out a video for the new Legion Space update 1.0.2.4. So if you're curious about that one, check it out. It has some fixes for the dead zone issue, as well as a few other things. In that video, I mentioned that the update would be coming out on the 15th, however, it did get delayed. So just keep that in mind. We got a weekly roadmap update from Lenovo this last Friday, so they did mention that they'd had to delay the Legion Space update, the 1.0.2.4 that I just mentioned. So it seems that they're likely going to be releasing it this week, but there is no date for sure set. Some of the fixes to expect is the dead zone management and response curve adjustments. That's something that I went over in my video. As well, they've included a shortcut to press the Xbox button, and I was actually incorrect in my previous video. It does work as an Xbox button, but you have to manually turn off Xbox Game Bar if you want this to work as the Steam button. There's also a fix for when the right menu is pulled out. This is your quick access menu, that when you'd be moving the controller to navigate the menu, you would also be pressing the buttons in the game. So this is something that they've put in place to address that. I personally haven't tested that myself to verify it though. They added a trackpad vibration switch, fixes for bugs in the lighting configuration, as well as a bug that disabled the Legion keys when in battery saving mode. And I haven't seen this one yet in the preview version, but I think it could be added to the, official launch. And that would be the ability to swap out the Legion L and R with start and select so that it'd feel a little bit more natural. And another quick setting that they added was Alt F4. Another thing that they're working on is new VGA drivers, so that's something that they say is a high priority. And currently they're working through a bug that they had discovered, so hopefully they'll be able to resolve that quick. They are also considering releasing it with the bug and just kind of labeling what the bug is so people could choose whether to upgrade or not. And a couple of miscellaneous things that they added priority to the request for the charge limits, where you could charge up to maybe 80 or 90% to, improve the longevity of your battery. So hopefully we'll hear about that soon, as it is a little bit higher priority now. And some plans for future updates. So there's key customization or key mapping. That's something that they have as a high priority. Setting the left and right triggers as mouse clicks. That's something that the key customization will allow. The ability to hide games in Legion Space. Desktop mode or similar, I'm not sure what that refers to. The ability to minimize the Legion Space app to the taskbar tray. Customization options for Legion Space, so maybe that's like themes or something. The ability to update your drivers, BIOS, and other software updates through Legion Space. That's something that they're working on. DPI settings for the trackpad and FPS mode. An FPS limiter that would include 30, 36, 48, 60, 72, and custom. Adjustable fan curves. The ability to turn off the power button light, adjust the automatic sleep timing, and the left trigger and right trigger dead zone activation point. And actually, while I was recording this section, the Legion Space update did go live, so next time you log into your device, it should automatically update for you. So enjoy your new dead zones, it's a really great update. And that's all that I've got for the Legion Go, so let's head over to the ROG Ally. For the ROG Ally this week, there isn't really any news to cover, but I do have another transparent case, this time from Jsaux, that I'm going to cover today. Today we're going to take a look at the RGB transparent backplate from Jsaux, so let's first take a look at what we get in the box. We'll start off on the right side, and we have this USB-A to USB-C cord. This is for charging the small battery in the RGB unit. And then alongside that, we have these spare screws, so if you lose one of your screws, there is a spare set here. Next, we have a few gloves if you want to use them while doing the install. And then taking a look at the center package, we have a guitar pick that was sitting on top, and on the left side we have some thumb grips, as well as covers for the M1 and M2 buttons. And now taking a look below those, we have some covers for the USB-C and XG mobile port. And then we have these little stickers for covering the light sensor when you take it apart. And then there's these other things that you can change for different patterns for the RGB. So some of them are the PlayStation symbols. We have one that says Biohazard, and we have a number of other options. You can also custom make your own. Next, we have the transparent rear shell, so we do need to transfer the buttons as well as the triggers. Jsaux has a guide on how to do that, so give that a watch if you're curious. Next, we've got this sticker that you place over the battery. This is so that it just looks a little bit cleaner. It's a nice black look, so you don't have to use this, but you can if you'd like. And then we have the instruction manual. So this has a QR code that you can scan if you want to watch the video or read the instructions. So take a look at that. I do recommend it if you're newer to doing these kind of installs. And then lastly, we have the RGB display here. So this is where you can change these out to different designs if you like. I'm probably going to go with the PlayStation one. Turning it around, you can see there's a little battery at the bottom and then the RGB strip. At the top, there's a way to plug it in to charge it, as well as a power button. And now that you know what's in the box, let's take a look at what it actually looks like when it's installed. So let's check out the final product, and here we are. Nice transparent back. I do think that the battery sticker looks pretty good, and the RGB isn't too bright, so it's not super distracting. And one last note here is there is a power button at the top. This is how you turn on your RGB and turn it off. If you're interested in this product, I'll leave a link in the description, so check it out. And that's all I've got for the ROG Ally this week, so let's head over to the Steam Deck. This week's products of the week are from Ugreen. We're going to take a look at the Revodok Pro 313 as well as the Nexode Pro 100-watt charger. We'll start off first by taking a look at the chargers. So when you open it up, you're first greeted with your instruction manual. And then the next immediate thing is the charger. So let's take a look at it. It's actually pretty tiny and compact. One nice thing is that the prongs fold away, so it's good for storage. And if you're wanting to see the specs, pause the video here and take a look. Looking at what we have for plugs, we have two USB-C cords as well as one USB-A. And this charger is significantly smaller than their previous one. So if you take a look at the other one, the Nexode 100 watt, you can see that it's about 2/3 the size. Very slightly thicker, but not a lot. So although the other one was pretty small, this one's a little bit more case friendly. It's something that I like to take along now in my TomTalk bag. You do, however, lose one USB-C port, so keep that in mind. Overall, this has worked with all the devices I've tested, so if you're looking for a very compact charger, this is probably a good option. Now we'll take a quick look at the Revodok Pro 313. So this is a 13-in-1 USB-C hub, which has plenty of options. So let's take a closer look at what we get in the box here. The first thing that you're going to be greeted with when you open up the box is basically 3 different papers here. 2 of them are instruction manuals. One of them's a little bit more in-depth than the other one. So if you run into any trouble, make sure to refer back to this. And then, of course, we've got the dock itself. So it's fairly large because, of course, being a 13-in-1, there has to be room for all that I/O. Let's take a closer look at the I/O. So on the front, we have a micro SD card slot as well as an SD slot. We have 3 USB-A ports as well as 1 USB-C port. 3 of them are 10 gigabits per second and 1 is 5. And then flipping it over to the other side, we have our power delivery, we have a display port, and 2 HDMI ports for support for up to 3 monitors. We have another USB-A port as well as an Ethernet port. This one kind of reminds me of another Ugreen dock I have, except with a little bit different I/O. It seems like you actually have more options on this one. Of course, it really depends on which style you'd prefer. So if you're interested in either of these products, check out the video description. I'll leave the links there. For Steam Deck this week, there are a few updates to SteamOS, so let's take a look at those now. The first update that I have is for December 12th. There was a few general fixes. One was reducing the amount of black screen flashes that were happening when you're opening up the Steam interface. Fixed some bugs where the Friends Who Play section wasn't refreshing. There was a couple of crashes in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 that was fixed, as well as some changes to the HDR visualization settings. And then we had some updates to the Steam Workshop that are basically quality of life changes. We can redesign the Workshop subscription list. You can add the ability to change the local load order and a number of other changes. And then on December 13th, we had another update to the beta client. This one fixed a regression causing the Steam client to become unresponsive when switching to big picture mode. Also on the 13th, we had an update to the preview channel. So this is SteamOS 3.5.11. We had some general fixes, the first one being the fading in and fading out settings for some applications being more consistent. They fixed a blurry image issue that was occurring during remote play when you're streaming to and from the Steam Deck. They fixed a black screen issue on Forza Horizon 4 and some other titles specifically to the Steam Deck OLED. As well, they added a timeout to the boot selection menu. And moving to the 15th, we had another update to the beta client. They adjusted the recent games page headers so that it's visible when changing your selection. They also made some further tweaks to the Steam Workshop, mostly relating to your subscriptions. And that's all that I've got for the Steam Deck, so let's head over to AOKZOE. For AOKZOE, it seems that the A2 is just around the corner. They've started to release some videos on YouTube showcasing the device, so I think we're going to be getting an update probably in the next week or two. What we know so far is that it has a bezel-free screen with a glass front, kind of like the AYANEO 2. It's going to have the 7840U, which they're planning to have at up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. The screen is going to be a 7-inch 1200p display that's going to be a 16:10 aspect ratio. Aside from that, we don't have the rest of the specs, but we should be hearing probably in the next week or two. I don't have an exact date, but I've been asking, and it does sound like it's going to be pretty soon. So as I learn more, I'll make some community posts for you guys, as well as update you in the next weekly. And that's all that I've got for AOKZOE this week, so let's head over to OneXPlayer. For OneXPlayer this week, we got a new video on their YouTube channel that's teasing a new device called the OneXPlayer X1. That's apparently a part of a new series of devices called the OneXplorer series. And looking at the device, it looks like it has a slot for the controllers, kind of like the OneXPlayer 2, except with a massive display that's 11 inches. It seems like they're going with an Intel Core Ultra 7 chip on this one, which recently was reported to be similar or a little bit more powerful than the 7840, but that'll remain to be seen. Aside from this teaser, we don't really have any more information. We're going to have to wait till OneXPlayer tells us more, but it's an interesting looking device. Kinda reminds me of that TJD T101 that we had talked about previously that had a massive screen, except this one's even bigger at 11 inches. And apparently they're recruiting beta testers, so I'll keep you guys up to speed as I learn more about that. That's it for OneXPlayer. Let's head over to AYANEO. For AYANEO this week, I only have one thing to cover, and that's the Christmas sale on AYANEO's website, so let's take a look. For the AYANEO Christmas sale, we have a number of deals, including deals on the AYANEO Air 1S, which is going for $100 off, and then we also have 45% off the AYANEO Air Plus 6800, as well as the AYANEO 2 and AYANEO Geek. The one thing to note though is that this price is not reflecting the sale price. So to see the sale price, you actually have to add the item to your cart. So let's go ahead and add one of these to our cart here. So it says $1,099, but when we click order, you can see that the price drops down to $604, which is a pretty dramatic savings. So if you're in the market for one of these devices, definitely check it out. Now is a great time to buy. Personally, I would recommend checking out the AYANEO Air 1S. It's a pretty nice looking device and it has the recent 7840U. Aside from the AYANEO Christmas sale, I don't have anything else to cover, so let's move on to GPD. For GPD this week, there's some good news that the Win Mini, Win Max 2, and Win 4 have had all of their shipments sent out. So anyone that ordered through the Indiegogo campaign should have their device on the way if they don't have it already. Some other good news for those that have a Win Max 2, they've now released the joystick calibration tool that previously had come out for the Win 4. So if you haven't grabbed that software already, I would recommend checking out the Indiegogo page, check out the announcement, and there's a link there where you can download it. One other update I have is for the Win Mini. There's a new BIOS available, so check out the announcement and see the link for where you can download it. And that's all I've got for GPD, so let's head over to AYN. For AYN, there's no updates this week, so that's going to mark the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.